centuries, Western art has given us this: cherubic infants with soft wings, drifting through clouds as they cradle harps. This is not the divine reality. It is a sanitized, hollow fabrication. Open your eyes to the truth, written in the ancient texts. Angels are not porcelain dolls meant for nursery decorations. They are terrifying, celestial warriors cloaked in incomprehensible power. When they appear, they are described as multifaceted, burning with eyes that pierce the soul, commanding the very fabric of existence. Every time they reveal themselves, the first words they must utter are, "Do not fear." You are not watching this by accident. You have been summoned to witness the raw, unfiltered authority of the divine. These are not symbols of comfort. These aren't nursery decorations. They are soldiers. Beyond the veil of your physical reality, an invisible, relentless war rages in the spirit realm, a dimension where the tectonic plates of heaven and hell collide. These celestial beings are not passive observers. They are active combatants, fiercely contending for the dominion of the unseen and shielding the architecture of existence from encroaching darkness. As it is written, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Ephesians 6:12. You stand at the intersection of these two worlds, caught in the crossfire of a cosmic struggle that defines your very breath and purpose. This is not mere mythology. It is the heartbeat of the unseen battle for your soul. Do not turn away from the severity of this truth, for your awakening depends on realizing the magnitude of the forces aligned in your favor. Pay attention, for the shift is already beginning, and by the end, you'll understand why it matters for your life today. Here's the problem most Christians face. You have been lulled into a passive, shallow acknowledgement of the angelic, treating them as distant whispers rather than active architects of the divine will. You believe they exist, yet you remain blind to the mechanics of their movement, unaware of the spiritual geography they traverse or the precise frequencies that ignite their intervention. Your understanding has been starved, reduced to a fragile, ornamental faith. You are living as if the heavens are silent and stationary, failing to grasp that these beings are constantly surging around you, waiting for the alignment of purpose that triggers their descent. We have traded the raw, consuming fire of biblical reality for the hollow aesthetic of Renaissance paintings and greeting card theology. So let's start with a scene that changes everything. Imagine the city of Dothan gripped by the cold shadow of siege. The horses and chariots of the Syrian army have descended, encircling the prophet Elisha with the intent of crushing his life. His servant, trembling with the weight of impending doom, cries out in despair, seeing only the iron and fury of human weapons. But Elisha remains anchored in a different reality. He does not panic, for he knows that what is seen is merely a veil draped over the absolute sovereignty of the unseen. He speaks into the terror of the moment with calm authority, reminding us that we are never left to face the dark alone. As it is written, "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." 2 Kings 6:16. He understood that the mountains were already burning with the chariots of fire, a hidden battalion waiting for the command of the Most High. This is your reality. You are standing amidst a spiritual host that remains veiled only until your perception is sharpened by faith. It is time to move beyond the physical fear that blinds you to the protection already surrounding your life. Elisha understood this truth, and he knew that for the vision of the Spirit to displace the fear of the flesh, one must simply cry out, "Lord, open his eyes so he may see." And suddenly the servant sees. As the veil of his physical limitations is torn away, the terror of the Syrian siege evaporates, replaced by the terrifying, glorious sight of chariots of fire and horses of light blanketing the surrounding hills. He realizes with sudden, shattering clarity that the army of the Most High has been stationed there all along, an immovable force of divine protection that stood guard while he was blinded by his own fear. As it is written, "Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha." 2 Kings 6:17. This is the profound awakening your soul has been longing for, the realization that your deliverance is not a future event you must bargain for, but a present atmospheric reality waiting to be perceived. You are walking through the fire right now, unaware that the host of heaven is already standing in the gaps of your life. You must understand that your awakening does not bring these forces into existence. It merely aligns your vision with the truth that already surrounds you. The prayer didn't create them, it revealed them. The spirit realm doesn't exist somewhere else. It is not a distant kingdom hidden behind the stars, but a vibrant, pulsing reality woven directly into the fabric of your everyday life. It exists in the same space you occupy, overlapping with your physical surroundings like light passing through a prism. To navigate this truth, you must awaken to the 5 dimensions of the spiritual landscape. The battlefield where destinies are contested, the army of heaven that stands in perpetual watch, the weapons forged in light that shatter chains, the courtroom where justice is decreed, and finally, the divine mechanism that ignites it all. As it is written, "The Lord is near to all who call on him," Psalm 145:18, confirming that the distance between your cry and their arrival is non-existent. You are not a spectator in a world of mere matter. You are an essential participant in a multidimensional intersection where your voice carries the weight of heaven. Stop searching for the divine in the far distance and start recognizing the atmosphere of eternity pressing against you right now. It is here, in the convergence of your faith and these unseen realities, that you discover the mechanism that connects your prayers to angelic action. First question, where exactly is this battlefield? You must dismantle the singular, flat view of the heavens you have been taught. For the ancient Hebrew understanding of Shamayim breathes with the complexity of a multi-dimensional realm. It is not merely one distant horizon. It is an expanse that encompasses the atmospheric heavens where the winds stir, the vast stellar deeps of outer space, and the unapproachable, eternal dwelling of the Most High. As it is written, "The heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth he has given to all mankind." Psalm 115:16. This hierarchy of heavens reveals that the spiritual conflict does not occur in some unreachable void. It saturates the very air you breathe and the space you inhabit. The divine reality is not a destination to be reached after death, but a territory to be occupied by faith in the here and now. You are walking through layers of existence where unseen forces move and contend, confirming that the spiritual landscape is not some far-off abstraction. By opening your perception, you move from feeling like an observer of distant events to recognizing that you have been standing in the heart of this collision all along, an awakening to a dimension that was already present. In Daniel 10, an angel explains why he was delayed. He was detained for 21 days by the Prince of the Persian kingdom. A confrontation of such cosmic intensity that it required the intervention of Michael, one of the chief princes. Understand this. This was no earthly king of flesh and blood, but a malevolent, high-ranking spiritual principality assigned to hold territory over a nation. As it is written, "But the Prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Daniel 10:13. This revelation shatters the illusion that political boundaries are merely human constructs. They are, in truth, the front lines of an invisible, calculated war for the hearts and destinies of nations. You are living in a world where governments, societies, and cultures are influenced by ancient, unseen hierarchies of power, entities that occupy the spiritual airspace over our cities and lands. This is a war of jurisdiction, a battle for the very soil upon which you stand. You have been chosen to exist in this specific time and place, not to remain a passive observer of these shifting tides, but to realize that your prayers, your identity, and your presence are weapons that can pierce these celestial strongholds. Stop viewing the world through the lens of mere physical events. Begin to see the underlying architecture of the spirit. The battlefield is real. It's territorial. It's here. So, who exactly is fighting? You must strip away the sentimental myths that have diluted your understanding of the celestial hierarchy, starting with the pervasive, hollow lie that human souls evolve into angels upon death. This is not the divine order. The scriptures testify that angels are a distinct primordial creation, forged by the Almighty before the foundations of the earth were ever laid, standing as entirely separate beings from the lineage of humanity. As it is written, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Psalm 91:11. They are not departed loved ones watching over you. They are mighty, flaming ministers of fire, uniquely engineered to serve the throne of God and intervene in the affairs of men. You are not destined to become an imitation of these powers. You are called to a higher station, for the scripture reminds us, "Do you not know that we will judge angels?" 1 Corinthians 6:3. This awakening restores your true identity, not as a wandering spirit seeking to earn wings, but a child of the Creator whose very existence holds a divine mandate. The boundary between the human and the angelic is precise and absolute, and in that distinction, you find your unique purpose. We are not them, yet we are tasked to stand in the authority granted by the Son, for the day is coming when we will have authority over them. So what are they? Beyond the misconceptions of the past lies a vast celestial administration, a divine order of hierarchy designed to execute the purposes of the Most High. They are not mere wisps of spirit, they are categorized ranks, each possessing unique functions within the architecture of heaven. You encounter the Seraphim, whose very presence is an unquenchable fire of adoration, and the Cherubim, the majestic guardians of the divine throne. There is the Prince of the host, Michael, who commands the legions of light in the invisible theater of war, alongside an innumerable company of angels tasked with executing the will of God. As it is written, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" Hebrews 1:14. They are not aimless. They are purposeful, highly organized officials of the supernatural realm, moving with precision to uphold the cosmic order. They are the conduits through which the power of the throne touches the urgency of your daily struggle. Every rank, every assignment, and every fiery motion is synchronized toward the fulfillment of a grand design, a mission that was set in motion before the dawn of time. You are not a bystander in this orchestrated movement of the heavens. You are the focus of their assignment. And that mission involves you. We know the battlefield, but have you dared to gaze upon the weaponry of the hosts? They carry more than just light. They wield instruments of divine authority that exist far beyond the reaches of human understanding or physical forged iron. These celestial blades represent the absolute, unshakable weight of heavenly jurisdiction. Consider the cherubim set at the entrance of Eden, brandishing a flaming sword that flashed in every direction, a symbol not merely of restriction but of the unyielding sanctity of the Most High. As it is written, "He drove out the man and placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim, and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life." Genesis 3:24. This is the power that governs the unseen, a force that does not merely block the way, but redefines the boundaries of life and holiness. These weapons are the extensions of a holy will, manifesting in the spirit realm to intercept darkness and restore the order of the Creator. You are beginning to see that these are not myths. They are the active burning tools of the kingdom, dispatched from the throne with the precision of a final, irrevocable decree. They stand as the vigilant sentinels of the eternal, authorized by heaven itself to enforce divine verdicts. But look at Revelation 20. The scripture reveals a scene that defies the limitations of human physics, describing an angel who descends from heaven holding the key to the abyss and a great chain in his hand. As it is written, "And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the key to the abyss, and holding in his hand a great chain." Revelation 21. Do you see the weight of this truth? This is not a mere metaphor for human struggle. It is a description of a tangible, supernatural intervention where celestial authority acts directly upon the spiritual forces of chaos. The angel does not simply command. He utilizes instruments of divine power, mechanisms of constraint that operate within the unseen layers of reality to bind even the Prince of Darkness himself. This is not the work of earthly metal or mortal grip, but a masterful application of spiritual law that leaves no room for resistance. You are being invited to perceive the grandeur of a kingdom that functions with a sophistication beyond our comprehension, a realm where even the most daunting adversaries are governed by the sovereign intent of the Creator. It is time to awaken to the reality that we are surrounded by a celestial order that is actively restraining the tide of evil, utilizing tools and authorities that remain hidden to the natural eye. This is technology we have no framework to understand. Now, here's the weapon that might matter most for you: the strategic deployment of your prayers. You often view prayer as a quiet plea, but in the spiritual realm, it is a high-velocity payload destined for the throne, authorized to set the heavens into motion. Consider the profound imagery in the book of Revelation, where the prayers of the saints are not merely whispered into the void, but gathered and activated as divine instruments. As it is written, another angel, who had a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer, with the prayers of all God's people, on the golden altar in front of the throne. Revelation 8:3. This incense, infused with the fire of the altar, does not vanish. It is cast back upon the earth, manifesting as thunder, lightning, and powerful, earth-shaking intervention. Your prayer is the ignition key, and the host of heaven is the engine of the divine will, processing your intercession and returning it as tangible, breakthrough authority that shatters the chains of your circumstance. You are not begging a silent sky. You are releasing a mandate that calls forth the armies of light. They are not passive messengers. They are the active processors of your faith, gathering the fire of your devotion to enforce God's purposes across territories. But here's what most people miss. You are viewing the spiritual conflict solely as a clash of brute force. Yet the true theater of war is held within the silent, solemn halls of a celestial courtroom. Satan is not merely a ravaging lion. He operates as a relentless prosecutor, an accuser of the brethren, who meticulously builds his case upon the foundation of your failures and hidden wounds. Consider the vision of the prophet Zechariah, where the high priest Joshua stood before the throne, clothed in filthy rags, while the adversary stood at his right hand to accuse him. As it is written, "Then he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right side to accuse him." Zechariah 3:1. Do you see the chilling reality of this legal battle? Even the archangel Michael, in his confrontation with the enemy, refused to rely on his own immense authority or personal stature. Instead, he recognized the gravity of the divine court, refusing to bring a slanderous accusation, choosing instead to defer to the ultimate judge. As it is written, "But even the archangel Michael, when he was disputing with the devil about the body of Moses, did not himself dare to condemn him for slander, but said, 'The Lord rebuke you.'" Jude 1:9. This reveals a profound truth for your own walk. The battlefield is a place of jurisdiction. You are not meant to battle through mere human willpower, but to stand in the truth of your redemption, knowing that when the enemy brings his accusations, your defense is already secured. He appealed to a higher court. How would you like to bridge this revelation of the celestial courtroom to the practical application of spiritual warfare in your daily life? This should make us uncomfortable, for it forces you to relinquish the pride of self-reliance and face the reality of your standing before the throne. You cannot win this battle through the exertion of your own strength or the merit of your deeds. Victory is not a prize earned by the flesh, but a verdict already settled in the courts of heaven by the sacrifice of the Lamb. As it is written, they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Revelation 12:11. This is the foundation of your legal defense. The blood of Christ serves as the irrefutable evidence that dismisses every accusation of the enemy, turning the courtroom into a place of your restoration rather than your ruin. When you stand in the covering of that sacrifice, you are no longer a target of accusation, but a protected heir of the kingdom. The spiritual forces that watch over your life are not merely executing tasks. They are acting as ministers of this heavenly verdict, enforcing the justice that was won on the cross. It is time to stop striving in your own name and begin to walk in the authority of your redemption. When you align your life with this truth, when your words and your faith mirror the testimony of the Lamb, the atmosphere shifts and the heavenly hosts are activated, because at that moment, the angels are authorized to act on your behalf. But what does this mean when you pray and the heavens seem silent, when you have poured your heart out for days without a sign of breakthrough? You must understand that the delay in your circumstances is not a denial from heaven, nor a reflection of your unworthiness. It is a revealing of the intensity of the war raging in the unseen. When Daniel set his heart to understand and humbled himself before God for 21 days, he was not waiting for God to decide. He was witnessing the resistance of the darkness against a divine mandate already in motion. As it is written, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them." Daniel 10:12. This is the key to your endurance. The answer was dispatched the moment your spirit ascended to the throne. The delay you experience is not a failure of prayer, but the consequence of an active spiritual battlefield, where the Prince of Persia and other dark principalities contend against the light. Do not mistake the battle for a lack of favor. Even when you see nothing, know that the forces of heaven are already maneuvering, breaking through the barriers of the second heaven to reach you. Your persistence is not an attempt to move a reluctant God, but a fierce alignment of your spirit with the victory already being fought for on your behalf. Stand firm, for the angelic messenger is already in transit, and your breakthrough is not arriving late. It is arriving precisely as the power of darkness is forced to yield to the command, "I have come in response to them." From the first day, the answer was dispatched immediately. The moment your soul aligned with the divine, a celestial emissary was released, carrying the weight of your breakthrough through the thick, darkened atmosphere of the unseen realms. Yet, you encountered resistance. A violent territorial blockade engineered by the powers of this world to intercept your destiny. As it is written, "But the Prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Daniel 10:13. This delay was not a cessation of divine intent, but the very battlefield where the clash of kingdoms unfolded. Your persistence during these silent, grueling days was not in vain. It was the frequency that drew the Archangel Michael into the fray to shatter the blockade and force the tide to turn. Do not be deceived by the silence, For in the hidden places, the host of heaven is fighting to break the chains that hold your promise captive. Your steadfastness in the place of prayer became the spiritual leverage that allowed the reinforcements to arrive. It was not merely a weight. It was the very thing that sustained the breakthrough. Your unanswered prayer might not be unanswered. It may simply be in the midst of a fierce, unseen transit, maneuvering through the corridors of a spiritual battlefield where your breakthrough is being won. You have been walking through your life as if you were alone, yet you are surrounded by an organized, highly disciplined host of celestial warriors who have been assigned to your specific destiny. As it is written, the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Psalm 34:7. These are not distant echoes of a forgotten myth. They are the active, tangible reality of your daily existence, commissioned by the throne to hold the ground you stand upon. Every step you take is shadowed by a force that is far greater than any opposition you face. Wake up to the truth that your life is woven into a grander narrative, protected by sentinels who possess the power to break chains and dismantle the obstacles that seem to bind you. Feel the surge of this invisible reality pressing against the silence of your circumstances, confirming that you have never been abandoned. You are a chosen heir, guarded by a battalion that moves with the precision of heaven itself. They are not passive, they're fighting in courtrooms you can't see. These celestial forces operate in the high-stakes jurisdiction of the Spirit to secure your destiny, yet your role is far from passive. Your prayers are the precise encrypted codes that activate the machinery of heaven, a sacred vibration that commands the attention of the hosts. When you align your declarations with the Word of God, you are not merely speaking into the silence. You are inputting a master key into the divine mechanism, signaling the armies of light to mobilize on your behalf. As it is written, "Call to me and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know." Jeremiah 33. Each petition is an activation pulse, a strategic release that cuts through the interference of the enemy and brings the hidden reality into full manifestation. You are the architect of your own breakthrough through the authority of your intercession, bridge building between the realm of the eternal and the immediate needs of your life. Do not let the brevity of your sight deceive you into believing you are unsupported. For every time you bend your knee in faith, you are commanding the invisible to become visible. Understand that your life is never lived in isolation. You are perpetually held, guarded, and fought for by a legion whose only mission is to see the purposes of the Most High established in your time. The army has always been there. The question was never, are they real? For the very weight of your trials and the depth of your recent collapse are not signs of abandonment, but undeniable proof of divine investment. You have been marked by the Almighty, forged through fire to carry a purpose that the darkness trembles to behold. This is not an invitation to settle into comfort, but a call to rise into the full, shattering authority of your calling. Do not misinterpret your struggle as a sign of defeat, for every moment you have endured was a sacred staging ground for your breakthrough. You are standing on the precipice of an awakening that is far greater than the pain of your past, and the host of heaven is already moving to establish what has been decreed for your life. The battle is intensifying, the dimensions are colliding, and everything you have faced was merely the preparation for the work now beginning. You must continue to press in, to remain unyielding in the place of prayer, for you are the architect of a celestial reality that is about to break through into your world. Your journey is not finished. It is entering its most critical hour, and you are not a bystander. You are a warrior positioned for victory. Do not lose heart, and do not let the silence of the sky deceive you into surrender, for your testimony might be the encouragement someone needs to keep praying.